Salutations everyone, and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. Things just kept getting worse in the news. Winnie the Pooh's got a live-action movie coming. Five Nights at Freddy's has a movie coming. And Ray Narvaez Jr. is leaving Achievement Hunter. So we got a lot of big news this week, none bigger than the official announcement that the next Call of Duty coming out this year is, of course, Black Ops 3. I think we all saw this coming. Trilogies are a thing. Modern Warfare got to 3, and I'm sure they'll do Advanced Warfare 2 and 3, and probably Ghost. Oh man, can you imagine a Ghost sequel? So after a lot of speculating and trying to decipher all this stuff, boom, they gave us a picture, and it said, it's Black Ops 3, official reveal on April 26th, probably during some basketball game as always. But, yeah, and it's taking place in the future. I think no one was really surprised by that. I know a lot of people were like, oh, they're totally gonna go back to World War II, but it's like, I mean, I could have made a video about why it wasn't going to be in World War II, but people really hate it when I make those videos because all of a sudden it makes me pessimistic and negative when it's just like, come on guys, let's be realistic here. That was never going to happen. Of course it's going to be in the future, A, to keep with the storyline from Black Ops 2, and B, because that's what all the first-person shooters are nowadays. They go through cycles about where they take place, how they take place, and like what tools are available. And right now, we're in near future mode with, you know, cybernetic enhancements and or exosuits. This one looks a lot more like the former. So who knows if we're gonna have the same type of gameplay that we've been seeing from Advanced Warfare, where everyone's just jumping and hipping and hopping and just looks dumb and not like a Call of Duty game. But Treyarch is our last chance for the Call of Duty franchise. If they screw this up, Call of Duty is just dead. It's just it's flat line. We have it on life support right now, just because we can still play Black Ops 2. But, I mean, that can't keep us going forever. So, if Black Ops 3 isn't as good as Black Ops 2 and doesn't give the fans what we need in a Call of Duty multiplayer that we haven't gotten in the last 2 years, then there's really no hope left for this franchise. But apparently there's something still about Mason and the numbers, and I don't know what they're doing with the plot. Who cares? We know it's just further in the future. Some sort of cybernetic enhancements are involved, or technology and humanity are blending, and blah 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 blah. All anyone really cares about the multiplayer. Let's be honest, and it better be good. In other gaming news, Yokai Watch, the super phenomenon that's been going on in Japan the last couple of years, which started out as a game and then became an anime and then it became huge after that. It's finally coming to America. They're finally releasing a Yokai Watch game in America, which was no surprise. People have been speculating in the last year and a half or so about when Yokai Watch would be coming to the States. Yokai Watch is basically an even younger targeted audience than Pokemon was, and it's kind of like Pokemon because you get to capture all these little creatures, but they're ghosts, not monsters, and then you have this watch, and it's super popular. The first game did okay, and then the anime came out, and then it exploded, and the second game came out, and the third game is coming out soon in Japan in 2 different versions like Pokemon, and the third game will be taking place in the United States. So no word yet on which Yokai Watch game is going to be coming to America first. If it comes out this year, I think it's definitely going to be the second Yokai Watch game to pump up people to get excited for the third game, or if we get the game next year, it'll be this third game. I think that's definitely how they're going to do it. It's the smarter way to do it. You want to get this third game out and super popular as much as possible. They're also releasing Yokai Watch to like Latin America and Europe and Korea, and I think it's going to be really big in Latin America and Korea specifically, more so than I think North America or Europe. But I could be wrong, but a lot of people are like, is this going to be the next ginormous phenomenon? Is it going to be Pokemon big? I don't know if it's going to be Pokemon big. It's at that echelon in Japan right now. It's pretty ginormous. People waiting in line to get cheap little plastic paper toys. And, yeah, so who knows if that phenomenon is going to hit as big in America, but I still think it's going to be rather successful, but because what hasn't been super successful in Japan, that's not at least a little successful in America. That's just how it works. But this is very a young audience that is targeted in this Yokai Watch series, in the games and in the anime, and they made a manga off of it as well. So it'll be interesting to see. So as I mentioned before, Winnie the Pooh is getting a movie, a live action movie, because that's just the thing that Disney is doing now. We had Cinderella, and they're doing Dumbo with Tim Burton, and they're doing Mulan and The Jungle Book, which we still haven't heard anything about, because that's been in gestation even longer than like Cinderella was. But and they're also doing a Winnie the Pooh live action movie about Christopher Robin returning to the 100-Acre Woods as an adult. So, I mean, we've seen these things be bastardized before in the past with, like, the Smurfs and just trying to blend CGI and live action and it never working. But this is Disney we're talking about, and Winnie the Pooh, which has had a lot of movies, all in cartoon form so far, even as early as 2011, which, I mean, people don't do hand-drawn movies anymore. They just don't exist in America, at least. And I hate this, because, I mean, Winnie the Pooh was awesome to me as a kid, but doing this whole live action thing and having Christopher Robin be an adult and coming back, and it's like, well, he's the only human in that world, so, like, why is it in CG? I don't know what they're gonna do, and I don't like the idea. And in other kid-friendly movie news, Five Nights at Freddy's movie option has been picked up by Warner Brothers. They got the rights. I mean, it was gonna happen eventually. This thing just got too popular, too fast, and maybe for its own good. But I mean, hey, apparently this dude can turn out a new Freddy's game every 2 months, so, I mean, he can milk that for as long as he wants. But movie rights, I mean, that could be a huge franchise deal. They already have, like, some merchandise I've seen at the cons. There was, like, a group of, like, 12 kids dressed up. It was... The whole Five Nights at Freddy's thing is a weird thing, and as a YouTube video game genre, that's a genre that exists now, that's just meant to make YouTube videos and to go viral that way, of people playing it and people watching people play it. And this one is one of the prime offenders, especially in the scary games category, which is just predicated on jump scares, and you win the game by not having jump scares happen. I think it's a stupid game, but it's really popular, and I can acknowledge that. It's much for younger kids as well, even though it's, like, scary, and it's kind of like a twist on the whole animatronic-friendly Chuck E. Cheese environment. It is definitely, as all the YouTube genre games are, geared towards younger kids, and that's where it's the most popular. I've never seen anything like this not be marketed towards kids merchandise-wise. Like, all the stuff that I've seen have been little kids wearing Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. That's the target demographic. So having a movie kind of makes sense. I don't know what the rating would be. You have to go PG-13 because your main demographic is under the age of 18. So that's just what they're gonna have to do. It's something that they could do, and there is actually enough lore in the game to have somewhat of a story, which is something you might not be able to say about every huge video game on YouTube. But, I mean, I think it's going to happen, especially if this dude keeps churning out these games, and they're just going to keep on being popular, I think, at least for a little while, for probably the rest of this year at the least, if he keeps tearing out games, maybe another year or so, and maybe Warner Brothers wants to fast-track this, because it could do well. I'm not gonna lie. I know, I think it's a stupid game and a stupid idea, and I don't think it has any redeeming qualities whatsoever, but I recognize it's not for me, it's for the children, and for people who like scary things, and it could be a thing that comes to the movie theaters, and that's a weird thing to think about, like a horror movie geared towards children. That's different. And in movie news, to get excited about news, we have like a lot of screenshots of Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool and a lot of things to get super excited about this Deadpool movie. Well, we finally know who the villain is and who's playing the villain. Remember that really pretty looking guy that followed around Daenerys Targaryen and then he got recasted like immediately into like a less pretty looking guy? Well, the first one, the guy with the sword who kills his friends, is spoilers apparently. He's going to be playing the main villain, and it is Ajax, a well-known Deadpool villain, dude, super angry guy, and that makes us think that there's probably going to be an origin movie, because Ajax has a lot to do with Deadpool's origin, and it would make sense since we've already seen screenshots of Ryan Reynolds on sets without the mask. In makeup, so obviously it's not like he was in transition between scenes. It seems like they're gonna have scenes with Deadpool not wearing his mask, which would make the most sense if you start off with the origin, because the dude isn't just wearing the suit from the get-go in the Project X thing going on. So yeah, Ajax is gonna be in there as the main villain. There might be other villains, definitely wouldn't be surprised if there were, especially some that make cameos and setting up for a sequel. Like I said, a sequel with time traveling and Cable would be super funny. But yeah, a lot to get excited about Deadpool, because like everything we've seen so far, the fact that it's rated R, the fact that the suit looks good, and the comedy is going to be there, and the action from the screenshots that we've seen on the set, everything looks like this movie is going to be the movie that it should be. And we got a good villain, and an actor that most of us know playing the villain as well. Any hooting the blowfish, that is what mattered this week. If you would like to know what matters in the future, you can hit the subscribe button down. Where is it? You'll find it. It's fine.